What's up? Just going over the pieces that it's requiring to upgrade the trans coolant system. As you can see, got a custom, this is a 30 row, 2-inch deep trans cooler. 2 ANs, I got red and blue for hot and cold on either side. Custom lines made, Arizona hose and tube in Phoenix. Did a good job. This is going to the trans side, and this is going also to the trans side, but on the filter itself. So that's why I had them run it there. 2500 psi. This is gonna be, I'm gonna add a liter, maybe 2 liters more, be able to add 2 liters more of trans coolant or trans fluid to the system. And of course, spark plugs, filter, oil. I'm going to do that too. But yeah, this is all to keep the 500 plus horsepower transmission nice and cool. There's no other way to add any more amount of coolant. As you can see, this here is going to hold a liter at minimum, an extra liter. With the setup I'm going, it's going to be kind of a, I don't know how to explain it. It's going to be kind of a remote system. This is going to be a tank for that, which is going to allow me to hold, I mean, that doesn't hold much, but it's going to keep it from overflowing. So I'm going to be able to have, like I said, I'm going to run 2 extra liters in the trans to help keep it cool. The issue I was having before with the trans lines, with the way it's stuck with the barbed way, this trans just, I mean, at 22, 23 pounds of boost, it was just popping hoses. So I went back to stock. But this way I'm going to be able to run them, like I said, AN fittings. These are 8 ANs. You know, hot and cold side. Not exactly sure where I'm going to run those yet. We're going to keep this baby nice and cool. My overflow tank or remote tank for the trans, I'm going to mount up underneath this cowl piece here. And then more than likely run my lines from that side around here to my cooler. I'm not going to run on the hot side. This is the cooler side of the engine, and I say that for this reason. If you go up underneath there, you're going to see where these run up. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of boxed in. So what I'm trying to do is keep the trans fluid as cool as possible. And this side is nice and open. I mean, like I said, I'll be able to run them, you know, probably right underneath the frame. But it'll be a direct shot from the frame around into the trans cooler, which is going to go over here. And to be honest, that should keep my trans at least on a minimum of 75 degree cooler. Not sure if I'm going to need to run a fan with this system. I don't think so. I'm waiting for my inline temperature sensors. I'm going to run a gauge for that. But like I said, I run it before, and with the Audi B11, I was able to see how cool it was running with the remote trans cooler running. Now this totally divorces the trans from the radiator, the stock radiator, the system. When you're running it the OEM way, that trans coolant, or trans fluid, sorry, is warming up by the radiator. So it runs into the side of the radiator on your passenger side up here. There's one on top, one on bottom. Now that fluid remains at a constant temperature because it's connected to the radiator where the OEM trans cooler is. You can never get any cooler for that trans than what the radiator is running at that point in time. So whatever the minimum of the radiator when it's running, idling, or whatever, when you're driving, whatever the minimum of that radiator coolant is what the fluid, that is the coolest the fluid will get. So what's happening, say the radiator staying at 195, we'll go minimum, what's 200, we'll say 200 degrees. That trans fluid is not able to cool down enough because it only holds, and I'm not lying, not even a full liter. I don't know if you've seen that video, but it was not even a full liter. of coolant. That trans cooler that's in the Audi is about that big, maybe an inch of this, maybe 2 inches of this. It's not big at all. It holds not enough. And if you're running, like I said, over 500 horsepower, that is not enough cooling for your trans. So that's why you guys are having the DSG issues, the malfunctions. You're having a temperature issue. I think the sensor is designed to go off somewhere around, I don't want to take a guess at it. I'm going to say around 200 degrees, 198, I think, something like that. Fahrenheit is what it's designed to trigger at, saying it's running hot. You're right there at the threshold. In a stock car OEM, yeah, you're not worrying about that. You're not hitting that unless that transcooler's clogged or you got a filter clogged. You're not running into that kind of temperature. But like I said, once you get up at the higher horsepower and the tunes and, you know, the stalls that are in the tunes and, you know, shift points that are in the tunes, that temperature just starts to go up. I noticed a drastic increase once I went to ultra-charge. That was a big increase in trans-coolant temperature. Not so much the stage 2, I didn't notice it. I really didn't notice it until after my ultra-charger was on. So that's been the thing I've been trying to figure out and fix. And like I said, ran the other trans coolers, the cheap B&M one with the 3/8, and then spliced it into the 12 mil. These are 12 mil. They're not a half inch. They're 12 mil. But putting hoses around it, clamping it all the way down, and it just kept popping. I mean, there was no hose. And I even ordered hose from Germany, which was, I think, 300 psi hose. It was popping. So what the pressure of this pump, it's got to be great, especially if you're boosting this thing. I think that pump probably works on some system in that kind of order with the motor itself. But that's a strong ass pump. I actually had it hit the wall when one of the hoses broke in one of the retro fittings or popped. I mean, it shot a straight stream, a straight hard stream. It didn't stop obviously until I shut the car off. So that thing pumps hard. These are rated at 2500 psi. You see that? Forenza. These are race car stuffs. Like I said, this is custom. You could find these anywhere. What you want to do when you get it is make sure you pressure test it. Make sure you don't have any pinholes anywhere. Standard. Same with your heat exchanger. Pressure test it. See if you got any leaks. But like I said, this way I'm going to be able to add at least 2 more liters of fluid to it. Divorce it from the radiator itself. So this is going to run, like I said, this temperature is going to be on its own cycle. Same thing as if you divorced, or if you guys did divorce your supercharger from your radiator cycle or the motor coolant cycle. It's the same principle. You're taking it out, you're adding its own little system to it, which obviously that's what I'm doing now. And probably do the power steering as well. I think I still have that cooler. It may be too big. Maybe find a smaller one to do my brake fluid and my power steering. So, alright, well, just wanted to show you the kit that I am making up. If anybody's interested, let me know. This is definitely going to keep the trans cooler. Like I said, with the way I had it set up before, it was keeping the trans 80 degrees cooler. I would be more than positive with the extra 2 liters of fluid, the size of this trans cooler, the diameter of the hose, and where I'm going to route the hose. I can more than guarantee this is going to be 100 degrees, 100 plus degrees cooler, which is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to try to get it back down to the stock cooling temperatures as if the car was running OEM. Alright guys, well, that's it for that video. Later.